Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Raquel Mornings, and I'm here back with another episode of Mood 24/7. Today I have a great and dear friend who's like a brother to me, Myles Willis. Myles, you can.
What's up? What's up? I know you've been waiting to get me on this podcast. I'm gonna say something stupid. It's gonna clip forever. So let's just get it over with.
I'm crying. Yes, no, I've literally been begging you, and I'm so glad that you're here to do this with me today. And I'm so interested in hearing your points of this conversation and this topic. So today we're going to be talking about double standards. And I have so many questions. Like the first one, what is your biggest stereotypical double standard that you deal with like all the time?
Well, so with me, I'm a good guy. So I'm not. Let's say that everything that I'm mentioning in this conversation is hypothetical male, not me, just a friend.
Okay.
So, but there's just so many double standards. Like the most recent one I've seen is do you know Brittany Renner? So she's like Instagram, she's like a model, she's just like Instagram girl, big butt and everything.
I'll pull up a picture for everyone who doesn't know her.
Yeah, everyone pull up a picture, PG-13. But so Brittany Renner she had a baby with PJ Washington. And PJ Washington, like they were married. I think maybe they got married or whatever, and then they got divorced or something. Either way, now he has to pay child support. And with Brittany Renner, I think she's like 5 or 6 years old. He's like just got to the NBA, like young dude. And everyone on Twitter, the whole reaction was just like, "Oh, bro, haha, you got played," and all this other stuff. And I was like, let's flip this. Now we got all the people, like if it was Britney Spears and clearly an older person took advantage of them and then ran them for their money for the next 18 years, everybody like, man, men are so bad. Men are messed up. Like, that's all I hear, especially now I moved back to Atlanta. It's like, man, men ain't hitting on nothing. I'm just like, it can go both ways. Definitely goes both ways.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. Okay, so do you feel as if like women at some point, if they're making more money, they should pay child support to the male?
Yes, absolutely. Or it shouldn't be any child support. Like if like with Kim Kardashian and Kanye.
Okay, that's a great example. Yeah.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian and Kanye, they are splitting up. Kim is a millionaire, Kanye's a billionaire, reportedly. Maybe I'll have to look into the details, but both of them are stupid rich. Why should anyone have to pay anyone anything?
Like that's a good point.
Especially if the woman asks for the divorce and there's no signs of like abuse or assault or any like thing that would kind of like question her safety. It should just be a handshake, see ya, and now you're taking care of yourself. Why should I have to pay for a lifestyle that you're walking away from? It makes no sense to me.
That's a good point. Okay, so in the situation of Dr. Dre, have you seen that? Where $300,000 a month. Okay, I mean I have to look up my facts to make sure, but allegedly she's getting paid $300,000 a month for spousal support. How do you feel about that?
There should be, if I was President Willis, I would enact. So in college sports, they have this thing called cost of living. Mm-hmm. So when you have a cost of living, they pretty much say if you live in this area, it's going to cost like this much to be able to at least do some relatively normal things, like go out to eat on the weekends, maybe go to a movie, get some snacks, maybe buy a flight home. So they have this like calculated cost of living adjustment that they apply every.
Right.
There should be definitely a cap on child support. I don't care if I'm a millionaire, that means I'm a millionaire. And if you're with me, we're millionaires. But if we're not together, yes, I should have to support my son. And hopefully, in a perfect world, there's no law that mandates that you just, out of the goodness of your heart, you're just going to throw the money out there. But in what world does she need $300,000 a month? She gets to be retired just because she slept with Dr. Dre. That makes no sense to me.
Okay, I get that. I'm understanding that. But okay, let's say there's no kids involved. no kids whatsoever. You got married, divorced, and now you're having to pay spousal support. You feel like you don't have to pay that. But here's the thing. She's been down with you through it all. Like she's been there from the beginning. Before, she was with you when you were shooting basketballs in the gym. You feel me?
But was she getting rebounds? Was she teaching? Was she coaching? Like
she was helping your mental. Okay, so that's a really good point because I saw this thing the other day, and I'll probably have to talk about this, really dissect this on another episode. But I saw this thing the other day, and it was saying that, like, basically, what is the wife there for if I'm paying for everything? Like, he was saying, if I pay for the house and I'm paying all the bills, what are you there for? And I'm just like,
I don't agree with that argument, but
okay. Because I was like, okay, so are you on that level, or how are you feeling in the double standards?
No, I feel like a lot of the double standards are based out of outdated principles. Like you need to pay child support because I think, like, I was looking it up because I came prepared. But I was looking it up. I think it was like in the 70s they had to, like, they enacted enforcement on child support. But what else happened in the 70s? Women had just got the opportunity to get a credit card. You couldn't vote until the 20s. So of course, like, yeah, the guy who has the money, who has the job, he's the breadwinner, he should be paying something if he helped create the kid. But that ain't 2020, 2021. I got so many friends. You got your degree behind you. I got so many girlfriends that are like lawyers or going to medical school and all that stuff. If you're making more money than me, you should be proposing. I know we didn't talk about that. Women should be getting down on the knee. Why not? And also, I shouldn't be paying anything. If anything, we split up. What about my lifestyle that I no longer get to live?
Okay. We need to touch on all of these subjects. Let's start with the proposal. That's the thing that's getting me. You feel as if she's making more money. No, okay. Here's another question. Scratch the money part. Here's another question. If you were to get proposed to, how would you answer that? You would be okay with that if she got down on one knee and was like, let's do the thing?
Yeah. Like, why not? Like, we're supposed to be feminists, right?
Why?
We're supposed to be for equality, we're supposed to be for feminism. So if we love each other, we want to be in a union, an equal union. Okay. You bring your money, I'm bringing my money, you're bringing your love and support. Then why should I be the one that has to hash out, what is the rule, like 2 months salary or something crazy like that?
Yeah, it's something like that.
You drop it. I want a ring. Why not?
Okay, so here's the thing. Usually the wife gets an engagement ring and a marriage ring, and then the husband just gets a marriage ring. So you want an engagement ring and a regular ring? You want two?
I'm not saying I necessarily want that. I'm just saying I don't get how that seems. When you think that's kind of sexist to say, like, the man needs to do this or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like in the modern era, when you say that it should, the woman wants to propose. Why is that weird?
No, I don't. I understand that. I'm not saying that it's weird, but I just know me, and I'm very, 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 very old-fashioned. No, let me take that back because I'm not old-fashioned about everything. But I'm old-fashioned when it comes to being proposed to, because I feel as if for me, this is just for me, I'm not speaking for all women out there before we get a whole women's right me too in the comments. Mm-hmm. But for me, I just feel like, that's something that I deserve, as far as like putting in the relationship and always doing my part, as I feel like, either a girlfriend or, to make it to that part, fiance or whatever the case may be. I feel like that is the one moment he can sacrifice and get down on his knee to look up to me and say,
but that's not the one moment. You're both sacrificing.
I mean, yes, but I just feel like that's a special moment that I've seen tradition that I would personally want for him to get down on his knee and be like I feel like, and this is just a symbol for me, I feel like when you get down on your knee to propose, because I've also heard the whole subject as far as why does he have to get down on his knee? First of all, that's out of due respect for me. That's just out of respect. You can get down on your knee for 30 seconds to say, will you marry me? That's just point blank, period. But I just feel like in that moment of getting down on your knee, that's you looking up to me and saying, hey, this is me, like this is all I have. I'm all here. I'm all right here. I'm giving you all that I've got. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. So I'm down on my knees telling you this. Like that's the moment that I'm like, okay, yeah, you're serious about it. Because I mean, not all the time. When do you ever see someone get on their knees? I mean, unless they're begging for something. But other than that, like you never really see people get on their knees. It's not like a for sure thing. Like, people don't just, oh, today I feel like going swimming. I'm gonna get on my knees. Like, no, it's literally a symbol of taking that moment and saying that, like, listen, everything else that I've done, I don't want to do anything without you. So I'm on my knees asking you this question because this is what I want. I want to give you everything that I have. So
a woman, I think that's all fair and valid. But you're telling me that a woman can't do the same thing for a guy? Tell him, like, hey, listen,
no, she can.
Oh my God.
Nothing wrong with that. Listen, nothing wrong with the Me Too movement. If a woman wants to get down on her knees and say, like, babe, like, I want to marry you, the whole 9 yards, she can do that.
Now, but this, and I get to post it on Instagram, like, hit my ring. Like, what's wrong with that? That's just perfect.
I'm with no, she can do that. But I feel like as me, that I take on such a woman role that I don't want that. You know what I mean? I feel like I just want, I'm, like I said, I'm traditional. I want the fairy tale everything. You get what I'm saying? The fairy tale proposal. My proposal's outlandish, but that's neither here nor there. I want, like, I want all of that. But I'm just not the type to, because I feel like, especially in my past, I've done so much to try to meet people where they're at. I'm no longer at that level. You get what I'm saying? Like in my past, I was like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this. I'm going to be the one to grow with in the whole 9 yards. I can't do that anymore. I can't, because I'm no longer at a stage mentally for that. So for me to get, I just can't. I'm sorry. There's no other way for me to break it down, but I can't. I cannot. It's a no for me, dog.
Well, what do you mean by this? So you're saying, I'm flipping, I'm interviewing you. So what do you mean? Like, you're saying that you've sacrificed so much that you can't, you're not, like, when you go in a relationship, you feel like you have to sacrifice more than the guy.
That's actually a good question. That's a really, really good question. Okay,
I'm not charging you for these
I'm crying. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest, and you might disagree with me, but and I'm not saying this is in every situation, because I've seen a lot of guys step up and be great, great fathers. But I just know that as like a mother, having to do a job and be a mother is 10 times, I wouldn't say harder, but exhausting.
It is hard.
Here's the thing. I love both of my parents equally. I'd sacrifice and do whatever it is to keep them alive for the rest of my life. But if I want some juice or something, I'm gonna be like, Mom, can I get some juice? Or if I want something that, like, if I need something for a sport, I'm gonna be like, Mom, I need some cleats. Or Mom, I need blah, blah, blah for this. She's the first person I'm going to. And just knowing me of how I'm going to be, because I'm a person that I like to be in charge. And sometimes I try not to be in charge, and then it just happens. But that's neither here nor there. So just knowing, like, me and my personality, I'm willing to do all of that. And excuse me. And if I'm willing to do all of that for the kids, I'm going to be 10 times even more head over heels for the relationship, because I'm going to put everything that I have in the relationship, even when it's hard.
I feel like you're going into potential relationships with the expectation that you're giving more.
And a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, and I know this sounds terrible, but I am. And I know that sounds like really cocky, but I am. And like, I literally posted.
But why not go for relationships where the effort is balanced? It's like both people are giving.
That's
just leading to one of my other points too.
That's really great point. But hey, if I can find someone that's willing to give as much effort as I'm giving,
That should be the
down
goal.
for it.
You
I'm
shouldn't be
down for it. If they
celebrating
come
anything less.
across my path, I'm down for it.
That should be the goal. You shouldn't settle for anything less. But
no, actually,
so
let
many
me.
times,
You know what? Let me. When the right person comes along, because I can't say 100% across the board, and I know that sounds terrible. But when the right person comes along, that's all I'm gonna say.
see, this is like another point I have.
Okay, say your point.
So like so many times, like when the guy's like, dang, this girl and she's trashy, almost like back to PJ Washington, like, oh, like he got with Brittany Renner and she clearly ran him for his money, she's gold digging, she did him dirty. Everyone's like,
I just want to say that's his fault.
Fair, if you also agree that when a woman gets done dirty by a guy, that's her fault.
That depends on how she gets. Whoa. That depends on how she gets done dirty.
If you get with Future and then Future posts all your dirty laundry on Instagram, saying, hey, just pray for her or whatever, like I ain't even paying her no child support or whatever. Future's character has been clear, and I love Future, my favorite artist. His character has been clear. He has like 15 baby mamas. I feel like people always come after guys when it's like, you should have known that she was like that. You should have known she was trifling. And then you see a girl walking around with a guy's like, you telling me that he's not an F boy? Like, you're telling me that women don't have the ability to sniff out character better or not equal to men ability to sniff out poor character?
Good point. But what I will argue for that, I will say that with men, and I guess this is just me because I'm seeing it from that side and I'm not attracted to the girl, I can already see the red flags off rip. Like off rip. Like I feel like women can't hide red flags. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but I mean, that's just me because, I'm not attracted to women. So of course I'm not going to be like, looking for them at this. You get what I'm saying? Of course I'm going to see them off the rip because I'm not attracted. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
It does make sense, but I would argue a lot of times women do see the red flags, but women like to be fixtures. They're like, oh, like he's this, but like I'm a control, like he's getting better, or like, yeah, he's a little rough around the edges, so they make excuses for him and all this other stuff, and then they end up looking stupid when reality hits them. But then society feels bad for the woman and shames the man. Why would you shame a dog for barking? That's what they do.
That's major good point. What I will say to that, okay, so I'm just gonna think both ways. For a guy, as far as him getting cheated on, like I said before, I guess I can see the red flags because I'm not attracted to the person. But it's very like, to me, it's like, you know what? Point blank period. And I feel like this is me in general. To me, a lot of the guys that I know, the first thing they do, and it's not bad. I mean, a lot of people do it, but the first thing they do, they're going after physical attractions. So while I'm sitting here seeing the red flags because I know the person may not. No, I'm not saying, see, wait, let me finish. I'm not saying that women don't. But what I am saying is that, like, right off rip, like, that's the first thing that happens, regardless. Every male that I have, well, I'm going to say every male that I know go after physical attractions first. Most of every male that I know. Let me put that out there because I don't need anyone coming back. No.
Oh, but real quick, too, I will point out, too.
Okay, go ahead.
Women will call out men like, you only go after physical attractions, but let a guy go out with a girl that is not as pretty as his ex, and they're like, he was someone ugly. Like, women will shame women off their appearance if they're more ruthless.
He's coming for my neck today.
They're more ruthless. Like, women will talk about men and like, oh, you only want one thing, and then the second you get with a girl that doesn't have whatever those things are, they're like, and look at him, he downgraded. Maybe she has a PhD.
And a great personality.
Maybe she's gonna be a good mother.
No, but I will say, but yeah, okay. So physical attraction.
Back to your point. Back to your point. Yeah.
Yes, back to my point. Physical attractions automatically, and then if they do them wrong, I'm just like, I could have told you that. Like, she was doing that in front of your face, but it's neither here nor there. When it comes to a girl, I'm gonna say a girl can get played by the ugliest of dudes. I'm not kidding. And I know this sounds really terrible because what?
I don't see too many girls getting played by 4'11" ugly dudes with no money.
Okay, short height is a completely different subject. Myles, we're gonna stick on subject. Height is a completely different subject.
Height is physical.
That makes
I would argue height is a physical thing. Height is a physical thing. I would argue, as a representative of the under 6 foot club, I would argue that a male's height is probably equivalent to one of a woman's features.
You're telling me because of your height, you didn't pull as many women as you could have in college.
If I was 6'2", I would definitely pull more. That's just a fact.
I think so. You think that? Okay. I mean, okay.
You don't. There has never been a president under 6 feet. Not saying people vote for people that they think is attractive, but height. There is this height discrimination in society that we just kind of overlook because who cares? But like, and I'm not trying to be like a sob story, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, height factors into things. Hair, like if someone is balding in high school, he's gonna have a hard time getting women. But if that balding dude goes on to create the Tesla, Elon Musk, and then he gets his hairpiece, whatever, now he has a supermodel. Elon Musk did not date a supermodel when he was growing up.
But well, I mean, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna call her a gold digger because she may have been there with him.
Now you're judging. You see,
and that is true. I'm judging, so I'll keep my judgment to myself. I'm sorry to his wife. Apologies already. What I will say.
That is an example of double standard.
No, I will say, as far as I think bald is a thing now. Like, bald is in. So I don't know what you're talking about.
You know when bald became in? You want to know when bald became in?
But high school, that's a different subject. Everybody wants to
know. You want to know when bald became in?
People barely hit puberty. What do you mean?
Bald became in when Michael Jordan, when he started balling out and he went bald because he was also one of the richest people in the world. That's when people say, oh, okay, now bald is attractive. Women aren't as attracted to like just the physical thing. They are attracted to it, but that's not going to completely sway the decision the way it will with men. But there's other things that factor in besides his character, or he has a big heart. It's like, oh, he's really rich. Oh, he's really popular.
No. Let me stop you right there. I'm with you, but here's the thing. Money equates to power. And what is everybody attracted to? Power. That's point blank, period. You can't tell me, you cannot tell me, Myles, you cannot tell me that if Michelle Obama or if Kim Kardashian came and rung your doorbell, it would be a different situation. Money is power, and power is it's a higher attraction on any level. That's why you see all these people like Bill Gates. I'm not saying that he's unattractive in any way, but I'm saying that's how he got his wife. You get what I'm saying? Money is power. So, women are attracted to power. That's naturally a thing.
Yeah, women. You said everyone, because I was going to say,
everybody's naturally attracted to power. Because why would anybody get up and go to work every day? Because we want money. Everybody wants it, just in different ways.
Is Michael B. Jordan trying to date Oprah?
He's dating Steve Harvey's son. Like, Steve Harvey has his daughter. Steve Harvey.
Is he dating Lori because
Get out. Let me tell you something. If Lori, as beautiful as she is, if Lori, as beautiful as she is, was on a crack pipe somewhere, he would not be dating her. And I guarantee that.
Because people who do crack don't look like Lori Harvey.
Okay.
She's a crack addict.
Okay. I was saying in general, if she didn't have her life together, he wouldn't be dating her. That's point blank period.
Lil Wayne is objectively not an attractive guy. And his roster, like all the people that he's dated, pretty solid. Like Lauren London tops that list. Who's on Oprah Winfrey's roster?
What's his name? And he's been on that roster for a while. But let's not play like Oprah can't pull men, because I'm pretty sure some of them older white men have tried to get in her pants. Exactly. You can't tell me.
I would like to see it.
You cannot tell. Let me tell you something, and I'm not saying this in general, but I'm saying I've known a lot of older white men, and I'm gonna say I think older white men have a thing for Black women in general, and I know that sounds like crazy, but
I think everyone has a thing for Black women. That also leads to another thing. We're talking about Michael B. Jordan and Lori. I think that's another double standard. Before he was with Lori Harvey, Michael B. Jordan would get trashed on Black Twitter all the time. Why?
I don't know. Tell me. Because last I checked, he was dating a Black model.
Exactly. But before then, he was only dating white women. Everyone kept attacking him.
So we're switching over into this lane.
This is because we're on the same point. Okay. Then you got Serena and Venus are both dating white men, and I haven't heard a peep. No one.
No, Myles, I'm with you. I listened. No. I was with you until you said that line. Let me tell you why. Let's bring it down the pipeline. Back it up right there. Black women continuously on an everyday scale, and I mean, I'm not saying that Black men don't, but on a higher scale, we continuously get bashed for everything we do. We're not loved, we're not accepted, everything along the lines. So as far as it goes for finally being even in the rims of dating outside of the race, that's why it's such a who and ha, because honestly, we barely see it, and second of all, it's such a hard time as is. I mean, honestly and truly.
I would argue, so Kamala Harris is the vice president. She's a heartbeat and probably a bad swallow from Joe Biden for being the president. Okay. Barack Obama would never have a chance of being president if he was married to Cindy or Sarah. If Barack didn't have Michelle, no way in hell does he become president. He would not.
I disagree with that.
And even with the Kamala thing, no one has even said anything about it.
I truly disagree with that. No, I seriously.
And I don't think they should. I think it's fine. Like so many times I hear Black women say, like, well, we always try to ride for our race. Just be with someone who loves you. Like, it's fine. We have the dominant team. It doesn't matter. Whoever we have a baby with, it's going to come out Black and it's coming out of us. So I think that's silly. So that's like an undue pressure Black women put on themselves for no reason. But it is funny.
It's not because Black women put it on themselves for no reason. Because let me tell you,
we get shamed more. No. Black men get every time there's a draft, every NBA draft, every NFL draft, you'll see it on Twitter. Like
I was with you until you started saying that. Let me tell you something.
I've
literally seen with my own eyes. I'm not kidding, and heard with my own ears. I'm not kidding. Black men say, and I'm not kidding about this, and this is why it's such a big hoot and holler when Black women or any women that's in a minority race dates outside of the race. It's because typically people within the Black community, I mean, men, and I've heard this. I'm not just saying that, oh, this has been said. No, like I've heard this, like it's been, I wouldn't say it was directed at me, but it was directed in the general, direction. Anyways, I've heard them say, oh, Black women are too ghetto, Black women are too loud, or they smell funny, or they're not as pretty as white women, and they don't have skin like this, and their hair is all nappy and stuff. I've literally heard that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying any standard that men don't get the same thing, but I'm saying that the rap in the community, especially the darker that you are, and I've seen this point blank period, because I mean, I've always referred to myself as brown skin, but and I've had friends that are lighter than me, and the friends that are lighter than me of course, I mean, and that's not like to be like boo-hoo, whatever. But the friends that are lighter than me, oh, she's light skinned, she gotta be mixed with something, she light skinned, blah, blah, blah. And even growing up, going to all white, like being around all white, barely getting any diversity, I hear that even more coming from white girls, or it's a whole different situation. So as far as hearing and
I'm not denying any of that.
no, and I'm not saying that you are, but I cannot say that like black men did it the worst.
No, I'm saying in terms of this particular area, when in terms of you have a famous or just any black person, because I've taken heat from it. A black person, if they date when a black male dates a white female, he gets it worse. He hears it more from his community than if a black woman dates and marries a white man.
Yeah,
that is
true.
That's just true. That's just no standard. Now, again, I recognize it is a double standard in terms of like a lot of black men say ignorant things. Also, again, one thing I don't understand is those are clearly low character dudes. Why do you want someone like that? If someone thinks like, oh, like Cindy is prettier than you, then first of all, like, okay, that's an idiot. You should be, thank goodness I'm not trying to get with that dumbass because I don't. Thank goodness, like, we
yeah, no, we don't want them anyways.
Exactly. Go ahead.
It's the fact that you say that in general that puts a bad rep on the black community. That's why so many people are up in arms about it. Not necessarily that we're butthurt that you're saying it because, oh, we liked you. Like, no, forget that. That doesn't even cross my mind. What crosses my mind is that you're saying it to a community that truly and honestly sometimes doesn't even support you or see you as equals versus the community that would just accept you as you are. And I get the point of, be in love with who you want to be in love with. You get what I'm saying? Be in love with who loves you. I get that 110%. I have no problem with races mixing at all. You get what I'm saying? At the same time, all I'm saying is don't bash your own race. Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense. It always drives me crazy when black people get uptight about race mixing. Like, if anyone should be uptight, like racist white people, because you're not, like, your genes are just vanishing if you mix with anything. But like, I don't know, that's just crazy. But again, you did admit that is a double standard. Michael B. Jordan was catching hell. Serena Williams, everyone's like, hey, good for her. Look at her man over there supporting.
That's half and half for me. It's half and half.
And even Russell Wilson, when he was with his other girl, and then when she like allegedly cheated on him, everyone was like, that's what happened.
That's allegedly, Myles. Why do you think
I mean, it was rumored. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't want to get sued for libel. But yeah, I mean, even it just, to me, I'm just like, you see it all the time. Every draft day, every time, like, think about the perfect example. When Russ's girl, when his white wife was out the game supporting him, everyone was like, or Patrick Mahomes' wife. And I think Patrick Mahomes is mixed and she gets it. But again, when what's her name, Serena's husband on court side, everyone's like, and that's a man right there supporting his woman. And never once do you hear, besides for like maybe like small hoteps, but you don't really hear it from like the greater community that's saying, she outside the community.
I hear that. And I also think it's part of the fact that simply because because it makes it seem like there's bad ones, but it's also part of the fact that when you see a lot of the people who get recruited or who are making a certain status, and that's another thing, when you see a lot of people making a certain amount of money, they tend to go to the lighter and wider side of women. And that's point blank period. I mean, if we're talking about double standard, I don't know. I mean, Naomi Campbell, beautiful woman, dark skin. She's one of the fewer ones. And Lupita, single, you get what I'm saying? Dark skin, beautiful women, all single.
I don't know. Who was the girl off The View? What's the black lady off The View?
Whoopi Goldberg?
Whoopi Goldberg. She dated, when she was at her peak, she was dating Ted Danson. So I'm not trying to hear like that people don't have access to, like when they get big. Whoopi Goldberg. Lupita is far more attractive than her. let's just be real. And then also too, when it always kills me when people say that, like, oh, like, well, look at them now that they're D1 athletes, they're dating white girls. I'm like, the guy's like, I'm at freaking Oklahoma.
No, what I will say about this, and I will say about
I can see if someone was at Jackson State and then find the one white girl there, then like, some questions there. But like, if I'm in an area where it's like, that's the majority, I don't think that's a crazy statistical reality.
I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, no, that's a good point. They're not at an HBCU, so that's fair point. Fair point. I'll give you that one. But I will say, as far as what was I gonna say? As far as what were we talking about? We were just talking about.
Yeah, I jumped around. I mentioned Michael B. Jordan. Then we're talking about how the heat that he got. Then I made my claim, which I'll die on that hill. Kamala could be president with her.
This is what I was gonna say. Here's a double standard that we have to say. Okay, we're getting close to time, but this is a double standard I have to say. Okay. And this is a race double standard, okay? As far as it goes for white women and Black women, all right? Now, Black women, we're taught, like, honestly and truly, we're taught to be quiet, don't, like, be outlandish, all this other stuff that we're not supposed to do, the whole 9 yards. Like, I was growing up taught, like, Keely, you're being too loud. You know what I mean? I was growing up taught, like, different situations. You're too emotional, you're too this, you're too that, whole 9 yards. A white girl right next to me can look exactly like me, go through life the exact same, will be taught something or be treated completely different as far as in when it comes to a guy. Like when I see a guy and we could stare the whole entire time at each other in the cafeteria. Let's say we're on campus, right? Eating in the cafeteria. We're just eye locked, right? If I don't say anything 10 times out of 10, he's not going to come up to me and say something. But 9 times out of 10, the white girl, I'm not saying that he's going to go up to the white girl, but the white girl will be the one to get up and go to him. And so that's something as I would say, as far as the double standard, that I wouldn't say that like guys think that that's more of an okay thing, but as far as girls are taught, we're taught, Black girls are typically taught not to be all up in someone's face or not to make the first move and do different things like that. We're taught to let the men come to us versus how white girls are taught, go to the men, do this, do that, do this. And so it's a completely different situation when we're out here, I wouldn't say fighting, but when we're out here dealing with the same people and we're not getting any results because of the way we were taught and
I don't know if I agree with that, because I feel like historically and culturally, Black women are seen as more so like the matriarchs of the family. Black women are more likely to be outspoken. And I know there's unfortunate stereotypes that comes with Black women being outspoken and loud, but I don't like, if you really look at most like household, like most white women, stereotypically, they're seen as more submissive, just like most, like the expectation. I was talking to one of my friends, and her family like from Vietnam. She was saying the expectation a lot of times is for like Asian women to be more submissive, and that's also the stereotype that links to them. I would, if you turn in terms of like a perception of being outspoken and in charge, I would argue Black women are probably perceived to be the most outspoken and in charge among all ethnicities.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I agree with that.
So I would say, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Even when I think it was the 2016 election, when everyone was mad because Trump won, Hillary lost, a lot of people were saying that a lot of white women voted for Trump because their husbands told them to. So even then, like the national perception is the fact that white women just do what they're told, whereas Black women, they vote more supportingly, or more likely to vote, and they overwhelmingly support a particular party more than Black men. So there's more of a link between, if that's your argument, I don't think that's the argument. I think there are just some white women that are more so far right or conservative or whatever. But if that just shows that some of the data was saying that people believe that a lot of times white women are submissive to their husbands. And I don't think necessarily that is the case. I mean, I think we should all treat people individually, but in terms of just cultural sentiments, I think it's hard to argue that Black women are taught or perceived to be less outspoken, just because I don't, in what areas, even like the horrible, like we feel that we fight against those stereotypes because, in every movie where they have a Black woman, she's the loud one. So I'm just like, that's the cultural perception.
Yes, but that's a cultural perception for overall. I'm talking about for dating. And I'm talking about in a dating situation. And I'm saying that's another reason why so many guys that we see at D1 colleges that are dating white girls is because the white girl will come up and be like, hey, blah, 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 versus we're taught as Black women, if it comes to a guy that you like, I've been told multiple times, don't like him first. I've been told he should come to you. I've been told he should call you. If he wants you, he will make it possible where
who are you told that by? Other women that are single?
But that's what I'm saying. Growing up, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. And that's been a generational thing. But I'm saying it hasn't just been me, it hasn't just been me taught that. It's been everybody that I've known and grown up with. I'm talking about middle school. I mean, you can't say anything about elementary school. We're 5. We play patty cake on the playground. But I'm talking about elementary school, high school, college. All these are the same thing. And I've experienced this. Literally, I'm not kidding. I've experienced being in the cafeteria, being stared at, not said a word to, but let Sally hop up and walk across the room and say something. All of a sudden, they're in a relationship now. But I've been taught, and it's a cultural thing. And it's like, that's why, I don't know, maybe you've experienced something different, that you've had, Black girls just outright come up and talk to you.
No, they don't.
And that's what I'm talking about.
But I don't think that makes sense though. Like, if it doesn't, my thing is this, just on the flip side. So a lot of guys are taught bad things. A lot of guys are taught, be aggressive, grab her, kiss her, or whatever, all that stuff. And then of course guys will say, oh, I thought that was it. And then next thing you know, everyone's like, you're gross or whatever. It's like, I feel like sometimes you can be taught things, but also at what point do you realize, like, that's not who I am. Like, you're a very confident person. Like, don't talk to the guy. I can only speak for myself. I don't know other guys, and guys really don't talk to each other about relationships and stuff, which would shock most women. Guys do not care about other guys. We're going to talk about the football game. But all I can speak for myself, most of the time we are stupid. We don't read cues. We have little awareness when it comes to those things, especially if you've been burned. You thought like, ooh, that girl likes me. And then you make a move, and the next thing you know, she curves you. And you're like, dang, I guess I don't know anymore. So I think it's ridiculous. It goes back to even like the proposal and stuff. Like, women, y'all are powerful. If there's one takeaway from this, women are powerful, they're strong, they are successful. Stand up, ask the guy out, propose to him, because you're making a lot of money in many areas, urban areas. You look at the data, women are outpacing men in terms of their income. Be controlled. Like, why? Like, whoever's teaching you that? Like, what are you reading that from, a girl? Read it from a guy. I was listening to this podcast. This woman was talking about how she found out how to best like please her man sexually. I know it's not an X-rated podcast, but she read a book written by, guess who? Not a single woman. It was written by a gay dude. Because guys are going to know a guy more than a girl will know a girl.
And you have a fair point across the board, 110%. 110%. But I just want to point out one little thing. You proved me right when you said, no, you've never had a Black girl just come up and be like.
But the thing is, though, you can't, I feel like at a certain point, and this is like a big, like, go meta on this. Like, this is a big thing that I always push back on. At a certain point, you can't just rely on, well, that's just, society, or that's just cultural expectations. Like, at some point, you got to break the cycle, or at some point, you got to recognize that that's just not true. Like in my life, like, I wanted to go to the NFL. I have so many friends that are still pursuing it even after college. But at some point, you got to realize, like, oh, even though I'm a Black man and culturally we've always seen that athletics and entertainment is our only way out, at some point you got to say, well, this is not true. And then just don't do it. Don't fall in line with it. or else you're always going to be stuck there. How do you want change if you're just a sheep and a cog in the system of cultural expectations and ideas? So ask that guy out.
I'm not saying that any of what you said is wrong.
It's not easy. I recognize it's not easy.
I am saying that as how we're taught, that's what we're taught. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're taught to be like. You're supposed to stick up for yourself if someone says something to you. You're taught to be, aggressive in that sense, or, speak your mind for your rights and the whole 9 yards. But when it comes to a male, that's another stereotype that's just so interesting. But we're also taught to be very submissive. So that's so interesting that you said that. But yes, okay, we are out of time for today. This was a really, really, really good topic. We went in on it. So thank you, Myles, for coming on. I appreciate this. I'm glad I finally got you out to talk about something on the podcast. I appreciate it so much. My name's Raquel Mornings. Which side are you on? I don't know. You're probably on this side.
Yeah, it'll flip around anyway. But thanks for having me on. It was fun. Hope you didn't get mad because I think if we're keeping score, I made a couple points. I think I made more points than you, but nah, it was fun.
Okay. I'm weak. All right. And this is another episode of Mood 24/7.